Today's joint appearance is happening in Cheney's birth state, Wisconsin, where a new poll shows independent voters there are just starting to dial into the race. Can she influence them to vote the way she will? NBC's Yamiche Alcindor is covering the vice president's event on the ground in Wisconsin. Mark McKinnon is a former advisor to George W. Bush and creator of the political documentary series, The Circus. Welcome, both of you. Yamiche, Liz Cheney isn't the only Republican joining Harris today. There are more than 20 others who will also be at the event in a deep red part of the state that went for Trump by more than 26 points in 2020. So tell us what's going on there.
That's right. Well, we have this striking event where you're going to see, of course, a prominent Republican, Liz Cheney, a former House member who, of course, was run out of office essentially by former President Donald Trump when she broke with him after the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. She's going to be campaigning with Vice President Harris, but she's not the only Republican. The Harris campaign is actually rolling out a number of Republican endorsements. That's really part of an effort to court Republican voters and independent voters who are going to be critical in this close race. The campaign statement says, in part, today a group of over 20 Republicans hailing from all corners of Wisconsin are coming together to put country over party and endorse Kamala Harris for president. I've also been talking to people here in Ripon, which of course is known as the birthplace of the Grand Old Party, the Republican Party. Take a listen to what I heard from some of the voters. The first one is an independent voter. He was a veteran of the Marine Corps. And the second one, he voted Republican in the past, has now been voting Democrat, but both of them say that they will be supporting Vice President Harris. So take a listen. So what do you think of Liz Cheney and Harris coming here together?
I think that's a good sign. So,
a sign of what?
Well, it's a good sign that some Republicans are going to vote Democrat, even though they disagree with the policy, you know, because they just can't get on board with Trump.
Is it striking to you to see a Republican and a Democrat campaigning this year together?
It is definitely different. It's something new to see, which seeing both parties together is where we need to be in the United States.
Why do you think of that?
I think we need to get along. We need to get together and go forward, not be divided so much.
And that last voter who said we shouldn't be divided as a country, he again is a veteran of the Marine Corps, and he said part of the reason why he can't support former President Trump is because of what happened on January 6th, and because he said that he's seen him as really being very, very offensive to veterans and to families of veterans. So he really sees Donald Trump as sort of not good for the democracy overall. Of course, the Harris campaign is hoping that they can court more and more of these Republican voters, these sort of Nikki Haley voters, to win this state, because it is going to be close here. So that's definitely in a large part what they're doing here. So it's not just about Liz Cheney. It's really about a concerted effort through aides, through organizations, through grassroots organizing, as well as through new staffers that they're going to try to court these voters.
Yamiche Alcindor, thank you so much. Okay, Mark, you know the Cheney family. You also know a campaign event like this doesn't come together overnight. So, you know, Jack Smith files, 3:45 yesterday afternoon. Cheney's decision is tied to January 6th. In politics, is it sometimes better to be lucky than good?
Yeah, there are no coincidences, it seems. Can we just put Liz Cheney on Mount Rushmore? My God, she's the only Republican left you can stand because she's the only one left with a backbone to stand up for the Constitution. And by the way, I worked with Liz Cheney during the campaign in 2004, and I'll just tell you, she came in before anybody else to work. She left after she stayed later than anybody else, and she had 5 kids. She worked her ass off, worked harder than anybody else. And by the way, unlike me, who's kind of a squish Republican, she's very conservative, super conservative, Wyoming conservative, Dick Cheney conservative. So for her to come out like this, again, just shows she puts principle over party. And it's just, I'm so proud of her for doing this. And I think it's going to make a big difference. And in fact, she's saying, it's a big voice for at least the 20% of voters out there who voted for Nikki Haley, and probably lots more, to say, you know, listen, the Republican Party under Donald Trump is not a party that any of us under Bush or Reagan or McCain recognize anymore. So when you can't recognize it, make character count, and this time vote for Kamala Harris and the Constitution.
You know, Mark, I mentioned that poll. It shows Wisconsin independents are considerably more enthusiastic about voting than they were just a month ago. It also shows that Kamala Harris leads Trump overall by 4 points, although that is within the margin of error. But given the closeness of the race, who specifically do you think the campaign might successfully target with an event like they're having today?
Well, see, I don't think there's undecided voters out there anymore. If you're not undecided,
You really don't?
No, I think if you're undecided in this election right now, you're not voting. The question is not the story of this race is not going to be undecided voters. It's going to be previously unregistered voters who are newly registered. And I think there's a lot going on under the radar in terms of people who are newly voting or haven't voted in a while that are voting this time. And that's where I think the numbers are going to change. And that's where I think the story of the election is going to be.
Well, that's interesting. And so that would argue that whoever has more offices, whoever has the better ground game is the one more likely to win.
I think absolutely. And from all I can hear from the data, Democrats have a great ground game going and a paid ground game going. The Trump campaign largely has volunteers. And, it doesn't take a scientist to figure out, who's going to work harder, paid volunteers or volunteers, paid workers or volunteers. So, I think there's a real advantage there in Democrats. And just there's an enthusiasm gap, which you just showed in your numbers, which I think is significant. This is all about who's enthusiastic, who's showing up to vote, and turnout. So it's going to be, your base turning out and getting unregistered voters who hadn't voted before. But I don't think it's about undecided voters at all.